hear me?
Yeah, perfect,
Okay.
cool. Yeah. Okay, so let me start.
We'll take some takes and then we'll see.
Yeah,
This is how they show.
okay, so hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Duly Diagnosed podcast, where we discuss all things mental health related. Today we've got Pakeeza Carim. Karim?
Yes, Karim.
Pakeeza Carim in the studio today with us, and today we're going to be discussing self-care, right?
Yes, it's one of the most important topic people need to know about.
Okay.
And it's one of my favorite topic actually.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And you're a counselling psychologist in
Yes.
private practice.
Yes, I'm a counselling psychologist in private practice, and I also work at ARC
Okay.
Rehabilitation Center.
And Pakeeza, sorry, I know you speak several different languages, right?
Yes. I speak 6 different languages.
Really?
Yes, so English is one of them. English, Arabic, Hindi, Urdu, Kashmiri. I understand some of the Indian languages like
Wow.
Gujarati, Marathi,
Jeez, okay.
So yes, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
And I'm in the process of learning Afrikaans.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Good luck with that. I've
Thank
never
you.
mastered it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get started. Self-care in the context of addiction.
Yes. So, but it's very important, to know, what is self-care. And first, let me just talk about it, and then we can discuss, why it's very important in addiction and in recovery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Go
All right.
ahead.
So, what do you mean by self-care? So, self-care is not about going to a spa, an expensive spa, or going for a nice holiday. Self-care is looking after yourself. What I mean by this is like taking small little cares, about yourself. For example, your sleep, your sleep is important. Are you taking proper sleep? Are you eating well? So when I'm talking about self-care means you're taking care of your mind, your body, and your soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did a session with Christopher the other day where we discussed masculinity and mental health, right?
Yes.
And I know for me, when I think of self-care, I think of there's this guy that I work with, Temba, and always, we were from the construction industry historically, and we give him uphill for using Nivea cream and taking baths and stuff.
Yes.
So from a masculine, even I suppose you could say like a toxic masculinity point of view,
Yeah.
it's sort of self-care is frowned upon.
So when I was talking about self-care is not about, going to an expensive spa, spending a lot of money on yourself. So it can be a small thing, taking a shower in the morning, it's all about discipline. It's all about routine, how your daily routine is in the day. So this is when we're talking about addiction and self-care. So this is what we see in our wellness centers, in our rehabilitation centers when addicts, they come and in how in the state they are, how their physical self-care is, their mental self-care is totally it's DMCR, I can say. So we focus in the rehabilitation on simple things your daily routine, your self-care daily routine. For example, getting in the morning, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, having your breakfast, So we follow that routine. Then having your lunch, having your tea at 4 o'clock, and then having your supper. So this is what they miss, when they are in active addiction. They don't take care of their self-care, So when you see them in the first day when they come for rehabilitation, how their hair looks, how their physique looks, they have not taken bath for many days, they have not brushed their teeth for many days, they have not eaten, their breakfast. So when we focus that in the rehabilitation center on that, you get up in the morning, you don't have to, sometimes we see that, these patients like, they want to sleep the whole day and they say, you know what, I'm tired, I'm here like, to rest, so I'm going to be sleeping the whole day. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to take your shower, you're going to brush your teeth, you're going to have your breakfast. Then slowly, you can see like, and they themselves like, they can see a change, the glow on their skin, the way they feel like, about themselves, changing clothes like, every day. This is what we focus like, in our rehabilitation center.
So it's like, I'm sure it can be quite a shock for people coming into treatment, coming from that chaotic environment, like you say. I mean, addiction is in a lot of ways the antithesis of self-care. So it's like the exact opposite, right?
Yes.
People coming in, like you say, sleep routine doesn't exist.
No.
In fact, they like on many, a lot of the time they don't sleep for days at a time.
Yes.
So
you can actually see the dark circles. So I have many patients like, in the rehab where I really, really want to take a picture like, of them when
before
they come
and after,
in, before and after, and how they look when they come and when they go, like, how they look. They can actually, this is what we do as therapists. This is what we do as psychologists to make few changes, small changes. Like, you don't have to make big changes like, in 21 days, So few changes like, they make and they can actually see, I tell them, I got a mirror in my room, in my counseling room, and I show them, see how you look now. This is how you took care of yourself. Small things. You need to walk when you go out, and sometimes like they say there's a lot of discussion about it. Like 21 days. Can you heal somebody in 21 days? No, we can't heal somebody in 21 days, but we can make small changes. One step at a time. So we believe in that. If this person is getting in the morning, which he has missed for so many days, getting up early in the morning, having a cup of tea, this he has missed. So the small changes we are making in the rehabilitation center, this is what he can actually see. We can't change, we can't fix him in 21 days, but we can teach him like, small things about self-care, so that when he goes out and
Well, I mean that's what. So I decided to sort of dress a little bit fancy today.
You're looking very nice, actually.
So I mean the reason for that, and I think it's one of our mantras that we ask the patients to repeat, especially in their first week or two, is get up, dress up, and show up, right?
Yes.
And I think that's incredibly important, like you said. Because it's just moving away from all of that self-destructive stuff towards something self-caring, sure.
And research has been done that a person like, because you have fed your neural pathways with so much of negativity, and this is what we focus like, in rehabilitation, for 21 days, that you fill your neural pathways with the activity, like, so this is what neuroplasticity is all about, that you train the brain. So research has been done. If you train your mind with something positive every day, like, there are chances like, that you'll be doing that, the rest of your life. You can train your mind every day with small things, like, for example, getting up early, like, you make a routine, like, every day. You woke up like, 6 o'clock in the morning. The next day, even if it's like, you're late, but, the third day you're going to be trying it again, So,
So, I mean, you spend 20 years living in a self-destructive way, like, in fact, training your brain to sort of think in a certain way and behave. You train yourself to behave in a certain way, right? So, like you say, sleeping patterns upside down, all the rest of it,
The eating patterns.
eating patterns,
Yeah.
and you
The
get into
interacting with people, like, social,
yeah,
it affects, like, I'll be talking about the different dimensions of self-care,
yeah.
so one by one.
So it's, I mean, it must be incredibly challenging for anybody coming from that 20-year process of self-destruction and sort of retraining themselves to sort of develop healthy habits, right?
Yes.
But I mean, and that's obviously where you come in, and
Yes.
it doesn't just stop during the treatment process.
No. So we do an outpatient program also in the rehabilitation center, where we try to motivate them. You follow the outpatient program. You come for your sessions, your individual sessions and your group sessions, for your meetings. You go for your AA, NA meetings. So we focus on that. The outpatient program is also very important, how the inpatient program is important. We try to focus on that as well. So I was talking about, like, the different dimensions of self-care. So I have divided it into mental self-care,
Okay.
physical self-care, emotional self-care, spiritual self-care, and social self-care.
Okay.
Okay. So when we are talking about mental self-care, so we are talking about watching a funny movie on television, or listening to your favorite music. I'm not talking about rock music. I'm talking about nice instrumental, nice, which will soothe your soul and mind.
Okay.
That kind of music. So looking for good when something unwanted happens, trying a new recipe, a new restaurant, or a new way of working.
Okay.
Dressing and grooming yourself well. Plan something to look forward to every day. So this comes under mental self-care. So this is what we focus, like,
Okay.
in therapy. Then is the physical self-care. So what we focus here is, like, be in nature for 10 or 20 minutes a day. All right. Sleep and nap if you need to. Usually, like, we tell them after. So the sleeping is not allowed, like, daytime. But after lunch, like, we tell them you can take rest, you can take a nap, like, for 10 minutes and then come back. As long as you're getting your 8 hours of sleep, like, every day. So you don't need to sleep in the day, Then nourish your body with quality food. I'm talking about healthy food. You need to focus on that also, not the junk food, like, which our society right now is so much used to, so which is not good for your body. So be clean and hygienic. So when we're talking about be clean and hygienic is, like, getting up in the morning, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, putting some lotion on your body, smell good, So exercise, the exercise you enjoy, it doesn't need to be going to an expensive gym, It can be taking a walk, a 15 minutes walk, outside your house, or going in a park. So this is exercise, or, like, simple workouts, like, in your room, some stretches, like, you can do in your own room.
Can I ask you something, Pakeeza? So, I went through a scenario where it was, I was starting a business, right? Okay, and there was zero concept of self-care.
Yeah.
It was about the objective, which is getting this business up and running, and it was like a life or death scenario.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. That's the way I perceived it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, get up at 5 o'clock, get to work by 6, the latest, and, get busy, skip breakfast, skip
Yes.
lunch,
Yeah.
kind of like, drink some Red Bulls to keep myself going.
Yeah.
Get home late,
Yeah.
kind of like shove dinner down my throat.
Yeah.
So
There was no routine.
get in front of my computer. Start.
Yeah.
So like staying sober throughout that, okay, but the quality of life has gone straight to hell. But again, there's this thought in the back of my head, is like, if I don't go through this, and if I don't put myself through this sort of like brutal process and try and get this business up and running, it's gonna fail. And
Yeah.
it failed anyway.
Yeah.
But which which was devastating to me, and there was like a lot of burnout at the end of it.
Yes, definitely. There will be a burnout.
So yes, I mean, you know, in burnout, I mean, I could put myself through those kinds of things. You know, when I was a bit younger, I've gotten a bit older, right?
Yeah.
So behaving in that kind of way, just it's not sustainable. It's not healthy. But it's difficult to, when you're in that mode, it's difficult to go, hey, why don't I take a 15-minute walk and, you know, spend time with nature? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's really difficult to sort of to do those kinds of things. What sort of suggestions can you give to somebody?
No, it's a very important thing, like, you know, which you discussed, right? Because it's not only you. There are a lot of business people, like, you know, they
professionals.
They do, like, you know, things like that. So that's why where I don't know, like, you know, if you know about emotional intelligence, where the emotional intelligence, like, you know, comes, where it speaks about, you know, self-awareness, it speaks about empathy, it speaks about self-regulation, you know. So these are the most important things, like, you know, you need to know, like, you know, to get back to your, so I believe, like, you know, if your health is not good, you know, you will not be able, like, you know, to perform in any kind of work, you know. So your health comes first, you know, not only your physical health, but your mental health as well.
So if there's no balance, look, you might achieve certain goals or objectives in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to pay an expensive price for.
Exactly. They say you will be having a lot of money in your life. You know, you'll be having a lot of time, but if your health is not there,
no, then you've got nothing.
That money is not worth anything. You know,
absolutely.
It's worthless. You know? So you have to look after. So when we talk about health, so it's not only physical health, it's also mental health. So we tend to forget that. You know, many people, like, you know, they forget that, you know, when we talk about health, it's not only physical health, it's mental health as well.
Kind of get stuck in that mode of this anxiety, the fear around not achieving a goal, or the fear of whatever's chasing you, kind of like motivating you just to behave in this self-destructive way, thinking that the outcome is the outcome that you need, when in fact it's just gonna.
That's why, like, you know, most of the companies, the multinational companies, are focusing on emotional intelligence now. You know, they're giving a lot of workshops, you know, to their employees, to their team leaders, to their managers, to their CEOs, like, you know, to make a difference between your intelligence, your IQ, and your emotional intelligence. So they say if your IQ is high and your EQ is low, you know, you're not going to perform well, like, you know, in your life. But if your EQ, emotional intelligence, is very high, and your EQ, your intelligence, you know, is low, you will perform very good in your.
So EQ is like a bigger it's sort of determinant when it comes to sort of positive outcomes, I suppose.
Yes.
Sure.
So it's very important to work on that.
Okay. So, sorry, I don't want to distract. I know you
No. So, because we're talking about emotional intelligence, let's come to the emotional self-care.
Okay.
So, when we talk about emotional self-care, it's like taking it out when you have a bad day.
Okay.
Talk about your emotions. Talk about your feelings. If you're not feeling good, you know, talk to somebody. You know, somebody you trust. You know, it can be one of the family member, you know, you trust. And you don't have to share with everybody. Like, you know, there's this person, like, you know, it can be your therapist also. And it can be some of your family member you really trust. But take it out, vent it out, express, you know, your feelings, express your feelings, your emotions. You know.
I know for me, it was very important in sort of in early recovery to set myself up with resources like that, a sponsor that I can call, and sort of have a conversation with, you know, around the issues that I was facing, or the challenges, or having friends, at least one or two of them, right? Sometimes it's difficult. I mean, you know, you don't ask a farmer about gold mining. You know what I mean? Like, so it's important to kind of like have, you know, so again, it's difficult to tell your wife, hey, I'm having thoughts of using drugs, or
Yeah.
you know, tell your parents that. So
Yeah.
it's important that you sort of find people that can identify
Yes.
in certain ways.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So then cry if you want to. So crying, this is also I focus on, in my therapy, that crying is very important.
Mm.
And it's not only a woman's job to cry. Men also needs to cry. They also have emotions. They also have feelings. So please cry. Let those tears come out. Because tears, they need an outlet. So, and it's very, very therapeutic to cry. So if you don't let your tears come out, it's going to find some other way, like, where it's not going to be good, like, for your health. So cry, it's important for men as well as for women, but we live in a society where boys and men, they are taught, like, boys don't cry, it's a sign of weakness, but please, guys, cry. You want to go in the bathroom? You want to go in the bathroom? Please cry. Let those tears come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Talk, vent your feelings, express your feelings, cry, let those tears come out, and then observe how you feel without judgment. Okay? And then honor, respect, and take action in line with your feelings. Your feeling, yeah.
Observe how you feel without judgment.
Yeah.
Are you sort of saying, if you do you want to elaborate on that?
Okay, so what sometimes, like, we feel that if I'm going to express this feeling of mine, what other person going to think about me?
Okay.
Is he going to judge me?
Okay.
So that's why, like, I said, express your feelings to somebody who will not judge you.
Okay.
Or blame you, or, like, this is the job of a psychologist, a therapist, a counselor, where in the therapy sessions we tell them, please express your feelings. We are not here to judge you. We are not here to blame you. We are here to help you. So the more, like, so you need to understand, you need to express your feelings. We are not here to judge you. All right. So then it's spiritual self-care. That's also one of my favorite topic, spirituality. So when we're talking about spiritual self-care, is like immerse in the feeling of gratitude for 5 minutes every day. What are you thankful for? So sometimes we forget. We have so many things around you in abundance, and we don't focus on that. Sometimes we forget, and sometimes we complain. We complain so much, that I don't have this, I don't have that, and the things which are around us, like, which we need to feel grateful for, we tend to ignore them.
Yeah.
So this is also some important thing. And then it's be present while eating or drinking. So when we eat, just be present, be mindful, be just see, like, how the food tastes, how the coffee smells, and we forget this. We are in this race. I don't know which race we are running, which race we want to run, So we are always in a hurry. So we forget, like, that I need to enjoy my food. I need to chew my food. I need to, for good digestion. It's very important for your digestion. You eat slowly, you eat mindfully. You sometimes you spill the coffee on yourself. You're in such a hurry, So enjoy, like, that moment. Be present when you're eating, when you're drinking your coffee, your tea. Be present, Don't rush it,
So, like I think the Buddhists talk about it. So when you make a cup of tea, make it well.
Yes, make it well. All right. So then meditate to your favorite guided meditation. So there are a lot of meditations, mindfulness, guided meditation for sleep, for forgiveness, for a lot of things, like, you can practice them, like, to get that spiritual self-care which you need. Then listen to a good spiritual podcast.
Okay.
Okay, you can listen to there are a lot of spiritual gurus, like, I can say, like, they give nice talks, and you can listen to that and just awaken your soul. That will awaken your soul.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's about spiritual and getting in touch with your higher power.
Yeah.
That is the most important one.
Yeah.
When we talk about the spiritual, this is what we also talk in therapy, in rehabilitation, like, getting in touch with your higher power, get connected, like, to him.
So on the higher power note,
Yes.
I know for me, not necessarily. So initially coming into recovery, the higher power thing I found very challenging, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that I became accustomed to as I worked on the spiritual aspects of my recovery was sort of the praying,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I remember being told, we don't necessarily pray so that God can hear it. We pray so that we can hear it, right? Another thing that I found incredibly helpful, sort of not being very religious or not knowing how to navigate the higher power thing, was when I did pray, I'd always stop at the first word that came out of my mouth, because generally the first word that came out of my mouth was either please or thank you, which is obviously
Yes.
2 words.
Yeah.
And I knew when I was saying thank you, I was feeling grateful about my life. And when I said the word please,
Yes.
it kind of like I knew there's something missing, something
Yes.
amiss, and I wasn't obviously in a grateful space, and I needed to relook at things.
Yeah. All right. So, are you listening to any spiritual podcast?
At the moment,
Yeah.
no.
No. Okay.
Actually, no, I haven't. See,
Okay.
I need to look into that.
Try it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right. Then there is social self-care.
Sorry, any podcasts you can recommend specifically? I know Eckhart Tolle, I don't know how you
Yes.
pronounce his name. I
Yeah.
know he's very cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Any other suggestions for spiritual podcasts or?
I'll tell you, I'm forgetting the name.
Okay, no, that's cool. So you can let me know, and then I'll put it in the links.
Exactly. Okay. So then there is social self-care. So you plan a surprise for someone else. Have you done it?
Cool.
Have you given a surprise to someone in your a friend or a family member
Not so much lately.
or your kids?
Yeah. So I've surprised my wife with some stuff on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
But I think I need to do more of that now that you mention it.
It doesn't need to be only on Valentine's Day.
That's what she says.
Yeah. So how did you feel? Just tell me honestly. Like, how was it for you? When you gave her a surprise and there was a smile on her face. How did you make you feel?
I think it's always good to see the people that I love happy. I think that's important. See,
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Thank you. Okay. So do something nice for someone else. All right. So then you catch up on WhatsApp, your friends. I personally don't like WhatsApp.
Oh, yeah?
Talking on WhatsApp. I love meeting face to face.
Okay.
I love, that connection, face to face. You can see the real emotions, like, in which I don't feel,
Like you mean physical one-on-one as opposed to like video call?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's been difficult with all of the obviously the COVID.
Yes, pandemic.
Yeah.
This is where we understood actually, like, how important human connections are, So, yeah. And then unfollow or mute toxic people on social media.
Okay.
What do you say about it?
Yeah. I'm a strong believer in that. If there's
Yes.
stuff that people sort of like repeatedly posting that is just either irritating or
Yes.
not in sync with sort of the way I see things, then just cut it out, I suppose.
Yeah. And the most important is the toxic people. You don't need toxic people in your life.
No.
So just unfollow them, with them. So this was about all the dimensions of self-care, like, the mental, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and the social. So we need to focus on that. Yeah.
And having boundaries.
Having boundaries, yes, yeah. setting boundaries, setting healthy boundaries with friends, with family. That's also one of the important self-care you need to learn.
And professionally, I mean, I think I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know you work really hard, and
Thank you.
yeah, no, it's invasive kind of work, so it must be challenging to. I mean, I know you obviously trained and all of that, but it must be difficult to kind of like set boundaries, with patients that can be quite demanding.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah. So that you learn, like, when, slowly, and, how to set boundaries with your patients, when you see there's a lot of transfers and counter transfers happening, like, in a session, then we know, like, we need to stop. We need to set this boundary, like, with our patients. Yeah.
What does that mean? Transference and counter transference?
So it's when a patient is just not setting healthy boundaries, like, in the session.
Okay.
And then you feel very uncomfortable as a therapist.
Okay, I see.
Then also it can come from both sides. Like, it can come from a patient that, he's not feeling comfortable with you, or sometimes the therapist does not feel comfortable with the patient.
Okay.
It reminds, of some things, like, so for example, I'm seeing a patient in front of me and his hair will remind me of somebody, or, it can also happen with the patient where my face will look like his ex-girlfriend,
Okay,
so
I
there will be a
see.
lot of transference, and there will be, like, so I would like to do a mindfulness exercise, like, just to see if do you want to try it?
Yeah, I must.
What do you think? It's
Okay, if I
part
have
of
to.
your self-care, which you
Okay.
need to focus on.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. So I have bought these two flowers. Yeah, one
Okay.
is yellow, one is pink.
Okay.
I'll keep the pink. You take the yellow.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever done a mindfulness exercise?
I've meditated.
Okay.
So I booked myself into this Buddhist temple advanced meditation course. I'd never done it before,
Really?
but I thought no, I'll handle the 7-day advanced.
Was it in South Africa?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
wow.
no, I was like, I absconded after the day 3 because it was just too hectic. So,
Okay. So do you know what mindfulness is?
do you want to tell me?
Okay. So mindfulness is be present in the moment.
Okay.
You need to be present in this moment.
Yep.
You need to be present in this moment. You don't need to think about your past. You don't need to think about your future. What is important right now is your present.
Okay.
Be in this moment. This is what mindfulness is.
Okay.
So I'll be doing this flower mindfulness exercise just to let you know, like, how it will have an effect, how it will calm you, relax you, and yeah. Can we start?
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead, yeah.
So what I want you, Ryan, to do is I want you to hold your flower. Are you sitting comfortably? Are you comfortable?
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what you need to do is, first of all, whoever is trying to do this exercise, you need to find a comfortable position. And I love flowers, so that's why I chose the flower exercise. So so you need to pick your favorite flower in nature or from your garden, or you can even buy. You don't need to buy expensive flowers, So yeah. So pick up your favorite flower in nature or from your garden and watch it for 1 minute. Ryan, I want you to see the flower
Okay.
for 1 minute. Yes.
For 1 minute, see?
Yes. I'm not asking for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Just spare your 1 minute. Isn't it a beautiful flower? What do you think,
Yes.
Ryan?
It is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's
What you did with the flower,
Sorry.
Ryan? What you did with the flower? All right. Okay. So watch it for 1 minute. Do not think about anything else. Just be mindful. Just watch it for 1 minute. Watch all its details. Simply observe it in all its splendor for 1 full minute. So watch all its details like its color, its size, its shape, and I want you to smell it. Not bad. All right. So now you're observing this flower, you are watching all the details of this flower. It's a beautiful flower. Now I want you to take a deep breath as if you're taking all the aroma from your flower. Take a deep breath. As if you're taking in all the aroma from your flower. You're feeling calm and you're feeling relaxed. Your whole body feels calmer and relaxed.
I do actually feel a lot more relaxing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Is it? Okay.
All right. You're at peace when you're looking at this flower. And you can feel the tranquility inside this flower. When you're seeing this flower, you're at peace and you're feeling that tranquility inside you. This is a beautiful flower. And you're feeling calmer and you're feeling relaxed. Your whole body is absolutely relaxed and calmer. Your whole body, from top to toe, is feeling calm and relaxed. It's making you calm and relaxed. Take a deep breath, breathe in from your nose and breathe out from your mouth. Inhale and exhale as you're looking at this flower. Your whole body feels calmer and relaxed when you're breathing in and you're breathing out. Inhale and exhale. You're feeling calm. Your eyes are feeling calmer. There was a lot of tension on your shoulders. You're feeling calm and relaxed now. Your whole body from top to toe. Your eyes are actually feeling very relaxed because you're seeing this beautiful flower. You're watching all the details. I want you to touch it. It's nice, right?
Mm.
We have forgotten, how to do this, all these things in our lives, what God has created, we forget, there are so many beautiful things around us, and we don't have a look, we don't feel them, So it's very important for our self-care to observe, all these beautiful things in nature and to feel calm and relaxed.
Kind of get stuck in the rat race, eh?
Yes. So take a deep breath, breathe in and breathe out. All right. How are you feeling, Dan?
I'm feeling very relaxed after that, eh?
Thank you.
I think, I don't do this kind of thing a lot, like ever.
Yes.
So,
And you have a beautiful garden.
yeah, thank.
And tell me honestly, how much time you spend in your garden?
it's probably very little.
Yes.
Very little. But it's I can see the value in it, and I think from a mental health point of view, though, it's just like it feels as though it's very difficult to bring myself to take that first step, like you're saying, and get into the gym. It doesn't have to be 5 hours a day, but it's just like, get up,
if
show up.
you can afford, to go to a gym, because a lot of my patients, they say they come from this middle class, low class background. They ask me, it's so expensive, to go to a gym, I
Put
can't
on a pair
afford
of shoes
it.
and go for a run.
Yeah, so go and take a walk, take
Sure.
a run, So
Yeah.
all the athletes, all the famous athletes in the world, they never had good shoes.
Yeah.
They never went
sure.
to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, do you ever find patients like outright resist doing this kind of thing?
Yes, there are a lot of patients, because you can also understand where they're coming from. So it's very difficult, but it's not impossible. So what I believe in, when I see impossible, I tell them, I say, you know what, it's you're saying it's impossible, but even the impossible says, I am possible. You can do it. These positive, affirmations, they need to listen, every day. They have to train their mind, every day with these positive affirmations, then you're going to be seeing the results. So in the beginning, yes, they hesitate. It's very difficult, but then they get. I'll just give an example. One of my patient in the rehabilitation center, he said, can you see, in the first day when I saw him, his eyes were with dark circles, his hair was upside down, his clothes it's he came, I think, in his pajamas, for his sessions, and so we spoke about self-care, and so I focus on that a lot in my sessions. And then after 1 week, and it was very, very, it really made me feel so happy. And he said, Pakeeza, can you see the difference? I said, yes, I can.
Sure, that's cool.
I can see there were no dark circles. His hair was fixed, and he said, you know what? I'm feeling so good because I'm having my breakfast. I
That's
was
cool.
ignoring that, for it's so long that I can see actually the difference in my body.
I remember, going through a stage where I was completely burnt out, and it was suggested to me, listen, stop at 12 o'clock and go and have lunch. Go and sit down, order some food, and between 12 and 1, switch your phone off and have some lunch.
Yes.
And yeah, just something like that is when you're in the throes of this kind of hyper fixation on sort of working on whatever it is, it's almost like you said earlier, it's almost impossible to just sort of pull yourself out of that moment and be mindful.
Yeah.
And I think that's I've got ADHD, right? And I know when with ADHD, you can end up in this sort of hyper focus episode where you just won't stop focusing on whatever it is, Excel spreadsheets or whatever it is, right? And so it's even more challenging, for people with mental illness, especially, I think.
Oh, yes.
And
that's where we come in, so where the psychology, the therapy, where we focus on self-care and mindfulness and relaxation. Sometimes it's very foreign, these things, some people I can understand, but when you give psychoeducation, you talk about it and then they understand, what, yes, it really works,
Okay. Anything else that you wanted to add?
Yes, I want to finish my talk with a nice quote of, I don't know if you know Jalaluddin Rumi.
No.
Okay, so he was a very famous Persian poet.
Okay.
Okay, so he spoke a lot on self.
Okay.
Self, who am I? What is my role in this world? So he used to do a lot of love poetry. He used to do a lot of spiritual stuff he used to write.
Okay.
So it's one of my favorite, quote,
Yeah.
So this is for all of you out there, and it goes like this. It's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah. So I'll repeat it again. It's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you.
That's awesome. Thanks, Pakeeza. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, we mentioned that, I think something similar to that when we were chatting to Chris.
Yeah.
So we're all just walking each other home,
Yes.
which is a really cool, and I love that. I love that. So you
Yes.
say that's a
You
poem?
must, yes.
Yeah.
You must read his poetry. So he's called Jalaluddin Rumi. He's a Persian poet.
Okay.
So
All right,
he has
cool.
done a lot of work on self.
I'll look for a link and we'll put it in
Yes.
the
Yeah.
on the video.
So
Yeah.
also, I don't know. You know Carl Jung.
Yeah.
So I have something for him also, and I don't know where I left it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So not Carl Jung. I will say a quote of Viktor Frankl.
Oh yes. Okay.
So he was a Holocaust survivor. He survived the Nazi concentration camp. He was a very famous neurologist,
Psychiatrist.
Neurologist and psychiatrist.
Okay.
So I like this quote of his because he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. Have you read that book?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So so this quote is one of my favorite from Viktor Frankl. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and I think that's very applicable considering what's going on with all of the lockdowns and COVID
Yes.
and being isolated from people.
Yes.
Kind of getting stuck in that routine of being stuck in that routine of being sort of like isolated and having to come out of that now.
Yeah. We are survivors,
No, sure, but I mean, I remember, another thing. I went through the stage where I was very depressed, and I remember speaking to my sponsor about it, and I was like, "Hey, man, do you ever get depressed?" And he was like, "No, not really. Why are you depressed?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not feeling very happy with the way things are at the moment."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, change it." And
There
I was
you
like, it never occurred to me. I'm dead serious. It never occurred to me that I could, just actually stop eating junk food.
Yes.
Get up and go for a run. So it
Yes.
wasn't like this clinical depression that I was
No.
going through. I was just feeling a bit miserable about
Yes.
things.
So
And,
you don't have to, sorry to interrupt, you don't
Yeah.
have to make big changes
Yes,
in a day.
absolutely.
It's like your small change.
Mm.
It's a small change. So Viktor Frankl, when he was in the Nazi concentration camp, he just said, you know what, I'm not going to die here. I'm not here to die. I'm going to do something about it, and he survived. This is a great message,
It
he
is.
gave to humankind,
Yeah.
that you can do it, a small change make a big difference, Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Pakeeza. Thanks very much for
Thank
coming
you
through.
so much. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry
it
you
was
got
an
lost
honor
on
to
the
be
way.
here to
Yeah.
talk about self-care.
Yeah, thank you, Pakeeza. Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.